What is going on, everyone? Trucker Crespo here. I have a very special topic to talk about today as a new trucker. What to expect and what you should have at home. So thanks everybody for subscribing. Whoever watches my channel, thank you very much. Whoever likes the videos, thank you very much. Everybody supports the little channel I have, thank you. But today I wanted to talk about something serious while you're on the road. Emergencies while you're at home. Well, emergency at home while you're on the road. So a couple of days ago, you know, I'm in Florida. I got a load going from Florida to California. I'm like, cool, you know, sucks. I don't know why I accepted it. I would have never came this far to California from Florida just because the revenue is no good. But I was like, you know what? It'll bring me by the house. It's worth the load, you know, just to be able to drive by the house, say hi to the wife and the kids, and keep rolling. So we take the load. We start driving. That afternoon, or that morning, my sister calls me. My mom wasn't responsive to her, so she had to call an ambulance. My mom had to go to the hospital. She had double bypass a couple of months ago, so you know, I'm all worried, thinking about my mom and things like that. But I'm on the road. I gotta keep driving. There's nothing I could do but drive, you know. So I told her keep me updated, things like that. My wife calls me that the baby, my 2-year-old, has a high fever. She gave him Tylenol. The fever's not going down, so she's gonna take him to the doctor. The doctor said, okay, I have an appointment for whatever. So she keeps giving him Tylenol every 4 hours. She's supposed to try to control the fever, but the fever is still high. So she goes to the doctor. The doctor finds out he has strep throat. So she prescribed some antibiotics, I believe. My wife had to go pick it up at Walgreens. So meanwhile, our other son was hungry, so she drops off the prescription. She goes to Church's Chicken to get some mashed potatoes or whatever, and the line is too long. It's out to the street, so she figured, hey, I'm gonna go park. I'm gonna run inside real quick, get the food, come back out, and go get the medicine and go home. So at Church's, she gets out. She goes inside. She's in line to get the food and leave. And while that's happening, my 2-year-old is having a seizure. My oldest son calls her, and you know, she never leaves the phone. And you know, she left the phone in the car, so he couldn't get in contact with her. So he calls me. And he's like, there's something wrong with Liam. What can I do? What should I do? And then he puts him on FaceTime. So I don't know about you parents out there, but to see your 2-year-old foaming at the mouth, staring up in the air and shaking, like I've never seen anybody have a seizure before. And I'm trying to yell through the phone, try to wake him up, try to see if he does anything. And I tell my oldest son, go get your mother. He's like, I don't want to leave him alone. I'm like, you have to. You got to go get your mom. You have to get your mom. So he goes in the store. I'm yelling, you know, I'm just yelling at my wife, hurry up, go to the car. Something's wrong with the baby. Go, go, go. When she gets there, the baby is kind of motionless, and I'm seeing this through the camera. My son called me, FaceTime me, so I could see what was going on. And I'm freaking out, but yet as soon as she gets there, she has to call 911. So I have to hang up. So all of this is going on, and I have to hang up the phone. I don't know what's going on. I don't want to call because she's on the line with 911, and I don't want to call because I want her to give all her attention to the baby. You know, so me and my wife have location share, so she knows where I'm at. I know where she's at all the time. Just for emergency purposes, out on the road, something happens to me, if she can't get in contact with me for more than 24 hours. She knows where I was at the last minute, things like that. But I'm looking at her location and she's not moving. And now I'm freaking out. I'm in the truck. My mom's in the hospital. My son just had a seizure. I didn't know what it was. I was freaking out because I couldn't talk to her. And I couldn't talk to her for a while. So I called my friend Johnny. He's like another brother of mine. And I call him and I'm like, dude, you have to go. So he was able to get to his wife was able to get to my wife and pick up the car while they went in the ambulance to the hospital. So anyways, that situation is very stressful as a truck driver, but you have to be ready for these situations. And I'm not ready. I was not ready. Luckily, I wasn't driving. But I was freaking out. She did eventually get in contact with me and tell me, that they're in the hospital, the baby's breathing, the baby's okay, they're doing all the tests and everything. So basically, this video is, when an emergency like that happens to you, the most important thing a trucker could have is a strong woman as a wife. She went through a lot and I'm not there, and that makes me think about all the other things that she goes through that she probably doesn't tell me. And we can't forget our family. I was able to swing by because of the load, and I was there the next day, and I was able to spend the day with her because this load had a lot of time. I was planning on dropping it off at the yard, keep rolling, but family first. I stayed home, made sure everything was okay, and I kept going. But guys, your wife is a very important person for you to be a successful truck driver. They need to be strong, they need to be independent, and you also gotta, you gotta love them. You gotta love them, because I love my wife. Sorry. They go through a lot. A woman marries a man for the man to be there. Like a man not being there, like she didn't get married to be single. Like my wife did not get married to be single. I was not a trucker when we got married. This just things that happened through life that made me become a trucker. And it's a big sacrifice. She knows it's a sacrifice. And but if it wasn't for her, I don't know. I love my wife. You guys need a good wife that could hold it down. Because on this road, you can't worry about everything at times. It's more dangerous for you to be worrying about other things at home while you're on the road. Like, if that happened and I wasn't anywhere near the house, I was dropping this load. I would call, get repowered, get me a plane ticket, I'm going home. Forget the money, forget the truck. Just wait for a load. Somebody to come pick up their load. Leave the truck at a truck stop. Uber to the airport. Plane ticket home. You need to go home. Family is family. But it made me realize how important my wife is in my life. Yeah, I already knew that. That's why I married her. But she's a strong woman. She went through all of that, and I wasn't there. Also makes you think, is it really worth it? Is the money really, really worth not being home with your family? Missing out on your kids' first steps, missing out on your kids' first words, missing out on all these things. Yeah, you're gonna support the wife, support the house, give him this, give him that. But as a man, you do that regardless. You gotta make a way to make ends meet. But guys, the most important thing to be a successful truck driver over the road is a special woman. And make sure you have that before you go on the road. You need a special woman to be there for good, bad, and not to rub it in your face that you weren't there, because she knows the sacrifice you're doing and she appreciates it. But you also need to, anything happens, go by the house, show love, or give her a hug, let her know she's not alone. We have nobody in Texas. We have no family in Texas. All my family is up in Massachusetts. So that's another thing to think about. Moving away where there's no family. You're gonna need family at some point. So might be moving back to Massachusetts. It was in the works. Now it's definitely more in the works. I definitely could have used a family member around. Luckily I had Johnny, who's a brother from another mother, and he made everything okay, you know. It made me feel okay in the truck because I couldn't talk to her. I was able to talk to him, and I knew help was on her way for her. But emergencies on the roads are gonna happen. Try to have a plan. Try to have an emergency contact. Try to have somebody that could help you when you're not there. Plan out the hospitals. Like, we moved to Texas. I couldn't tell you what's the nearest hospital where I live. Now I can, but I couldn't tell you. I couldn't be like, let's go to the hospital and jump in the car and go, because I moved to Texas. I became a trucker. I'm barely at home. So it's important things that you learn when things happen. So anyways, just feel like I'm rambling. Thank you, everybody. The baby's good. My mom is good. Everything's good. Thank God. I'm glad I was able to swing by the house. Just happy. I'm back on the road. But just happy everything turned out okay. Don't lose your mind over the road. Don't lose track of your goals. Things are gonna happen that are gonna try to deviate you from what you're trying to accomplish. And this was definitely one that almost took me out of trucking, guys. I was ready to bring the truck back to prime and go home, but I got goals and I gotta finish them before I leave. And be safe out there, guys. Be mindful of all the things your wife goes through while you're not at home, and make sure you have a good one, a good wife. And alright, guys, peace out. Be safe out there. Don't do anything I wouldn't do. It's probably my longest video ever, but peace out.